In this video, we'll solve a problem which is shamelessly stolen from a book called Matlab Programming for Engineers written by Stephen J. Chapman. A. We have to calculate the day of year. For example, the 7th of January 2020 is 7th day of year 2020, the 1st of March 2020 is 61st day of year 2020. To make it slightly difficult, we'll calculate what day it was. For example, the 7th of January 2020 was a Tuesday. But before solving the problem, we need to know if statement, switch statement, and for loop. Therefore, I'll describe them briefly with some examples. The simplest form of if structure is this. When compiler reaches if statement, it first evaluates the truth value of the expression. If it is found to be true, then the statement 1 is executed. If false, compiler goes to the next command line ignoring the statement 1. Another form of if-else statement is this. Similarly, when compiler reaches if statement, it first evaluates the truth value of the expression. If it is found to be true, then the statements 1 is executed. If false, compiler executes statements 2. Now we'll solve a problem using if-else statement. The problem is to find the absolute value of an integer. Here we'll use the fact that the absolute value of a non-negative number is itself and the absolute value of a negative number is negative of that number. Can you think what will be the expression in the if statement? If the number is n, then the expression will be n greater than equals 0. Here we want to define an integer type variable named n. Now we want the user to enter a value, so we write. Code tells the compiler to show the text enclosed between the two quotation marks on the computer screen. The semicolon at the end terminates the statement. Gene takes the value entered by the user and saves it in the variable n. Now we'll write the if statement. Now run the code. Switch statement takes this form. Here, expression is evaluated to yield an integer result. If there is a case statement whose label matches the value of expression, control passes to that point and the statements following the case label are executed until a break statement is reached. For those who don't know what break is, break just terminates the loop. That is, when compiler reaches break statement inside a loop, it ignores the rest of loop and goes to the first line outside that loop. If no matching label can be found, then statements following the default label are executed. The labels val1, val2, etc. must be specific numbers, not variables. Let's see a simple example of switch. We want to determine whether a number is odd or even. Here we'll use the fact that a number is even if and only if it is divisible by 2. Can you think what will be the expression in the switch statement? If the number is n, then we want to check the remainder when n is divided by 2 as 0 or 1. If it is 0, then n is even, otherwise odd. Hence, we write the code. Let me add some lines after break statement and run. See, the compiler ignores the lines after the break statement. Before stating the form of for loop, suppose you're asked to write, "I like this video and subscribe to the channel" 5 times using C++. How will you do it? You can write a program containing 5 quotes, or you can use for loop in this way. For loop has this form: the starting statement is executed the first time the for statement is reached. In our case, the starting statement is int t equals 1. This declares a new int integer variable named t and assigns it the value 1. Next, the test condition is evaluated. If this condition evaluates to true, the statements enclosed in the curly braces are executed. In our case, the test condition is t less than equals 5. As long as t is less than or equal to 5, we do the statements enclosed in the curly braces. After the enclosed statements are executed, the advancing statement is executed. In our case, that statement is t++. This means that t is increased by 1. Now the entire process repeats until the test condition is false. At that point, the for loop is exhausted and we proceed to the next statement after the close brace. Here I'm assuming that the viewer knows what while loops are. If not, you may think while loops and for loops are similar. For example, let me do the previous task using while loops like this.